Lucas Wren was not a hero, a soldier, or a genius. He was a technician, quiet, curious, and very good with machines. He worked on Orbital Station 9, a science lab floating above Earth. Most days were quiet. He checked energy readings, repaired circuits, and drank too much coffee. He liked quiet, but today was not quiet. It started with a small thing, a tiny flicker on his screen, a power spike in Lab Bay 3. Not unusual, but something about the pattern caught his eye. It was too smooth, too perfect, like a signal repeating itself. Lucas leaned closer. "That's not normal," he whispered. He typed fast, pulling up the lab's camera feed. What he saw made him drop his coffee. There, standing in the middle of the room, was a girl. She wasn't supposed to be there. The lab was sealed. No ships had docked, no life signs were reported. But she was there, tall, thin, glowing faintly. Her skin shimmered like silver glass. Strange patterns ran down her arms, glowing softly like circuits. She had no clothes, but no human details either. Her form was smooth and alien, more like a being made of light than flesh. Her hair floated around her head like smoke, and her eyes glowed with soft blue light. She moved slowly, touching the machines, watching them, with interest. Her fingers passed through locked control panels like mist. She didn't notice the cameras. Lucas stared, wide-eyed. "What are you?" He checked the station logs again. No breach, no alarms, no oxygen change. Nothing showed she was there. Except the camera. Only the camera saw her. He switched to thermal view. Nothing. Infrared? Still nothing. Only the visible light feed could see her. She thought she was invisible. Lucas hit the record button. He didn't feel fear. Not yet. Just awe. This was first contact. Real contact. An alien, here, now, inside Earth's most secure station. And she didn't know she had been seen. "Okay. Lucas," he whispered to himself. "Don't mess this up." The girl turned her head slowly, looking around. Her glowing eyes scanned the room like a scanner. She walked without sound, floating just above the floor. She touched a power coil. The machine lit up, reacting to her. It responded like it knew her. Lucas blinked. She's syncing with the system. That shouldn't be possible. He pressed a few keys and activated silent lockdown. No alarms, just soft, invisible fields of energy locking doors, windows, and airlocks. The lab was now sealed. Not even a ghost could escape. Then he got up and walked to the lab. As he approached, his heart beat faster. Not from fear, but excitement. Curiosity was stronger. When the door opened, the girl turned. She looked at him and froze. Her mouth opened slightly. In shock, her glowing eyes widened. She didn't move. Lucas raised his hands slowly, showing peace. "It's okay," he said gently. "I can see you." The girl blinked. Once, twice, then spoke in perfect English, her voice soft and musical. "You can see me?" Lucas nodded. "Yeah, I've been watching you for 10 minutes. She looked down at herself, confused. She waved her hand in front of her face. "That's not possible. I am cloaked. You shouldn't be able to." "Yeah, well." Lucas shrugged. Humans are full of surprises. The girl's glow dimmed slightly, as if she was embarrassed or nervous. "I didn't mean to be seen," she said quietly. "This is a mistake. I came only to observe. No contact. I thought your kind were not advanced enough to detect quantum phase displacement." Lucas laughed softly. "Big mistake. We've got some weird tech. Most of it built by people who break things until something cool happens." The girl tilted her head. "I don't understand." Lucas smiled. "Exactly. Welcome to humanity." She looked around the lab, then back at him. "What will you do now? Call your leaders? Lock me away?" Lucas paused, then he shook his head. "Nah, not yet. You don't look like a threat. And You're clearly lost. Besides, you're the first alien I've ever seen. I've got questions." The girl hesitated, then slowly nodded. "I am Aelari, from the Elathi. My mission was to watch and report, but now I have made a mistake." Lucas grinned. "Yeah, but it's the best mistake I've ever seen." Lucas watched Aelari carefully as she stood in the middle of the lab. She still looked like she did not believe she was visible. Her glowing skin seemed to shimmer softly, and the strange patterns on her arms pulsed lightly, like living circuits. Lucas wondered how her people could travel so far, yet be so unaware of Earth's simple technology. "We don't have invisibility cloaks like you," Lucas said slowly, "but sometimes our machines work in ways even we don't understand." Hilari's eyes focused on the control panel. She reached out with a finger. The panel lit up in response, as if recognizing her touch. Lucas frowned. "You can control things with your hands?" She nodded. "Our technology is linked with our bodies. We use energy that flows through us, not wires or buttons." Lucas was amazed. "That's different. We build machines separate from us. But sometimes we try to connect. You might say, humans are clumsy with it." Aelari smiled faintly, a strange mix of curiosity and sadness. "I see. Your kind is creative, yes?" Lucas shrugged. "Sometimes. Other times we just get lucky." He sat down in a chair near the control console and looked at Aelari. "So why are you here? Why come to Earth alone?" She hesitated. "I was sent by the Elathi High Observers. Our mission is to watch worlds that might become space travelers. We study quietly, carefully, without interference. We observe invisibly." Lucas nodded slowly. "And you thought Earth was not ready for that kind of attention?" "Yes. Your species seemed primitive. No faster-than-light ships. No powerful defenses. No real sign you had left your planet." Lucas smiled wryly. "Well, we don't always do things in a straight line. We mess up a lot, but we keep going. We have dreams bigger than our tools." Aelari's glowing eyes brightened. "Dreams? That is interesting." Just then a soft alarm beeped on the console. Lucas looked at the screen. The lab's security systems were still active, but now there was movement on the outer cameras. "Someone's coming," Lucas said. Aelari's expression changed. "They will find me." Lucas stood. "We need to talk. You can't stay here long." The door hissed open, and 2 security officers appeared. They froze when they saw Aelari glowing softly in the room. "Step back," Lucas said calmly. "She's not dangerous." The officers exchanged glances but obeyed. One spoke into a radio. "We have an unidentified presence in Lab Bay 3 awaiting instructions." Lucas turned to Aelari. "You need to hide or explain." She looked uncertain. "I cannot hide. My presence disrupts the phase cloak. I am visible, only to certain sensors." Lucas thought for a moment. "Okay, then we'll tell them you're a visitor. But you have to trust me." Aelari nodded. "I have little choice." Lucas moved to the comm system and spoke quietly. "This is Lucas Wren. I have an unknown life form here. She's an alien, but peaceful. She's here to observe, not to harm." There was silence, then a voice replied. "Understood. We are sending the chief scientist to meet you." Lucas looked at Aelari. "Guess this is it." Aelari's glow dimmed slightly, but she nodded. Minutes later, a woman in a white lab coat entered. She looked carefully at Aelari and then at Lucas. "I'm Dr. Maya Chen," she said. "You say she's an alien?" Lucas nodded. "Yes. From another star system." Maya stared at Aelari's glowing form, then back at Lucas. "This is unprecedented. We need to understand her technology." Aelari spoke softly. "I will answer your questions." Maya smiled gently. "Good. We want to learn. But also protect our planet." Lucas stepped back, letting the scientist take the lead. As they talked, Aelari explained more about the Elathi. They were a vast civilization that traveled the stars using advanced energy control. Their ships could become invisible by shifting phase with quantum fields. But Earth's technology, Lucas learned, had evolved in a strange, unpredictable way that disrupted the invisibility. The chaotic nature of your quantum systems makes cloaking unstable, Ilari said. That is why I was seen. Maya looked impressed. So Earth's technology is chaotic but effective. Lucas smiled. Yeah, you could say that. As the hours passed, Lucas and Maya worked to create a temporary shield around Ilari, keeping her safe and hidden from outside scans. They used a combination of old Earth tech and new algorithms, mixing human creativity with scientific rigor. Ilari watched with quiet fascination. Your species is unlike any I have seen. You build, break, and rebuild with passion. Lucas shrugged. Sometimes that passion works, other times it's a mess. Maya laughed. But that mess is what makes us human. Outside the lab, the world waited. News of the invisible visitor was already spreading quietly through secure channels. Governments debated how to respond. But inside the lab, a small team was learning something far more important. That humans, with all their flaws, had a spark no other species seemed to share. A restless, fearless hope. Ilari, once afraid and alone, now felt something new. Perhaps Earth was not the lost world her people believed. Perhaps here, she could learn not only to observe, but to be part of something greater. Lucas looked at her and smiled. Welcome to Earth, Ilari. Things here are never quite what they seem. After the initial shock of discovery, Ilari slowly began to relax. The bright lights of the lab no longer seemed so harsh, and the cautious eyes of her human companions grew less intimidating. She sat quietly beside Lucas and Dr. Maya Chen, still glowing softly, but now more curious than frightened. Lucas studied her carefully. So, Ilari, he said gently, tell me more about your people. What is it like to live in a place where you can turn invisible? Ilari's glowing eyes brightened. The Ilati are a species that values order and control. Our technology and biology are connected. We can use energy to hide ourselves, to pass through walls, or even travel unseen between worlds. It is natural for us. Lucas nodded. Sounds like a superpower, but it's not perfect, right? You got seen here. She sighed, a soft sound like wind through glass. Yes. Your world's chaotic technology disrupted my cloak. It was not supposed to happen. I thought humans were not advanced enough to see me. Lucas smiled. Humans are tricky like that. Sometimes we surprise even ourselves. Ilari looked at him with interest. You say your kind is tricky. What does that mean? Lucas chuckled. It means we don't always follow the rules. We break things, make mistakes, but we learn fast. We don't give up easily. The girl's glowing patterns flickered gently. That is different from the Ilathi. We follow strict codes. We do not take risks. We watch. We wait. Lucas leaned forward. And how does that work? Do you just watch and never get involved? Ilari shook her head slowly. No. Sometimes we intervene, but only when a species is ready for the stars. We protect the balance. Sounds like a big responsibility. Lucas paused. But why watch Earth? What made you curious? Ilari looked down. Your world is strange. It has many dangers, but also great hope. It is unpredictable. That is why I came, to understand if humans could survive the challenges of space. Lucas smiled. Well, we've had our share of challenges, but we never stopped trying. The door to the lab hissed open again, and more scientists entered. They were careful, but eager, filled with questions and wonder. Dr. Maya introduced them quickly. Everyone, this is Ilari. She is our first confirmed contact with an alien species. Ilari nodded politely. Greetings. The scientists asked questions about her technology, her home, and her mission. Ilari answered as best she could, revealing little but enough to spark excitement. Lucas noticed something change. The atmosphere shifted from fear to fascination. He leaned toward Ailari. "You're making friends here." She smiled softly. "I hope so. I am far from home." Lucas looked at the screens. Outside the station, Earth's leaders were learning about the visitor. Debates raged about what to do. "Are you worried?" Lucas asked. Ailari shook her head. "No. You humans are unpredictable, yes, but you have courage. That is rare." Lucas grinned. "You haven't seen our wild side yet?" Suddenly, a sharp beep came from the security console. Maya frowned. "Sensors detect an unknown ship approaching Earth. It's not ours." Lucas stood up. "Could be Ilathi fleet?" Ailari's glow grew stronger. "Yes, high observers. They have come to judge your world." Lucas felt a chill. "Judge us like a trial?" Ailari nodded. "They decide if species can be trusted with space travel. If not, they intervene, sometimes by force." Maya's eyes narrowed. "And now they know we have an alien here." Lucas turned to Ailari. "What happens next?" Ailari looked away. "I do not know, but I fear my presence has changed things." Lucas thought hard. Maybe it's time humans showed what they're really made of. The tension in the room grew, but so did a strange hope. Ailari, once invisible and alone, had become a bridge between two worlds. Lucas walked to the window, looking down at Earth's blue-green surface spinning slowly beneath them. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. Ailari came beside him, her light calm now. "I am ready to learn. Are you ready to show them, Lucas?" He smiled. "More than ever." The silence in the lab was heavy as Lucas, Ailari, and Dr. Maya Chen awaited the arrival of Earth's highest leaders. The news of an alien visitor, glowing and visible despite cloaking technology, had spread quickly through secret channels. Governments across the world were preparing their responses. Would they welcome Ailari or see her as a threat? Ailari stood near a window, watching the Earth spin below them. Her glowing form was calm, but tense. "Lucas," she said softly, "I never imagined what would happen if I was seen. The Ilathi believe invisibility is safety, but now I am exposed." Lucas looked at her. "You're not alone. We humans know a thing or two about being exposed, in ways we don't expect." Ailari's eyes flickered, the patterns on her skin shifting like slow waves. "Tell me, Lucas, what is it about humans that allows you to survive when everything seems against you?" Lucas smiled. "It's our stubbornness. We make mistakes, we fail, but we keep going. Sometimes that's enough." A soft beep from the lab's communication console interrupted them. Dr. Maya stepped forward. "The council is ready to speak with us." Lucas took a deep breath and pressed the speaker button. A calm, authoritative voice filled the room. "This is Director Harrow of the Earth Space Council. We understand you have an unusual visitor. Explain." Lucas nodded. "Director, this is Ailari of the Ilathi. She came to observe Earth but was accidentally seen. We have been talking. She is peaceful and curious." There was a pause. Then the voice spoke again. "The Ilathi are known for their advanced technology and strict rules. Your visitor's appearance raises many questions. How do we know Earth is safe?" Ailari's voice, clear and steady, answered. "The Ilathi high observers watch many worlds. Earth is unpredictable, yes, but filled with potential. I came to understand your species, not to threaten." Lucas added, "And I believe humans have what it takes to join the stars. We might be rough around the edges, but our spirit is strong." The director's voice softened. "We will send a delegation to meet you and Ailari. Until then, contain the situation. No panic." The line went silent. Lucas turned to Ailari. "They want to meet you, but they're cautious." She nodded. "Understandable. My people see humans as chaotic. Many think your species is too wild for space travel." Lucas laughed. "That chaos is part of what makes us human. Sometimes it's the only way to survive." Days passed. The lab was filled with scientists, security, and diplomats. Ailari was guarded, but treated with respect. She shared what she could about the Elathi, their culture and technology. One afternoon, Lucas asked her about the phase cloak, the technology that made her invisible. It is complex, Elari explained. Our bodies can shift in phase, moving between states of matter. This allows us to hide from detection. But your Earth's quantum energy is different. It disrupts the process. Lucas nodded. Earth's technology is a patchwork. We build on old ideas and sometimes break new ground by accident. Elari smiled faintly. Your unpredictability is a strength and a weakness. Lucas thought about that. Yeah, we survive because we adapt fast. Sometimes we don't even know how. One evening, as the lab quieted, Elari looked out the window again. Lucas, she said, if the high observers judge Earth unfit, what happens? Lucas shrugged. Could be bad. They might try to stop us, but I don't think they will. Not after meeting you. Elari's circuits glowed softly. You have changed the situation. Lucas smiled. Maybe we change each other. Suddenly the lights flickered. Alarms sounded softly. A red alert flashed on the console. Dr. Maya rushed in. Incoming transmission from the Elathi fleet. Everyone stopped. The screen lit up with a starship. A massive vessel, shining with blue light. A voice echoed from the ship. This is Commander Veshar of the Elathi High Observers. We are here to assess Earth's readiness. Lucas met Elari's eyes. Here we go. Elari nodded. This is their way. The final test. The lab fell silent as the message continued. Commander Veshar spoke of judgment, of responsibility, and of potential consequences if Earth failed. Lucas stood tall. Then let's show them who we are. Elari's glow brightened. Together. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity's chance to prove itself had arrived. The arrival of the Elathi fleet cast a long shadow over Earth's orbit. Massive starships hovered silently, their smooth blue surfaces glowing faintly against the blackness of space. On the orbital station, the tension was thick. Scientists, soldiers, and politicians waited nervously for the next move. Lucas stood near Elari, watching the distant ships through the station's large windows. Her glow pulsed softly in rhythm with her breathing, or whatever passed for breathing in her alien form. Lucas, she said quietly, your people have surprised me. I expected fear and anger, but I see something else. Lucas smiled faintly. That's humans for you. When faced with the unknown, some get scared, but most of us get curious. Elari's eyes brightened. Curiosity. Yes, that is important. Suddenly, the station's communications console beeped. Dr. Maya Chen stepped forward and pressed a button. This is Commander Veshar again. The voice echoed through the lab. We have watched your world. We have seen your technology and your people. But judgment will not come from what we observe at a distance. We will send a delegation to meet you. Prepare yourselves. Lucas felt the weight of those words. The Elathi were no longer just observers. They were here to test humanity. Days passed as preparations began for the historic meeting. Scientists and diplomats worked side by side, while Lucas spent most of his time with Elari. She had become a bridge between two worlds, a symbol of hope and understanding. One afternoon, Lucas and Elari walked through the quiet corridors of the station. She looked thoughtful. Lucas, she said, I have watched many species. Most are rigid and fearful. Your species is different. You adapt. You fight. You dream. Lucas laughed softly. Dreaming is something humans do well, even when the odds are against us. Elari nodded. That is why the high observers hesitate. They are unsure if your kind can be trusted with the stars. But I believe you have a spark. Lucas looked at her. A spark? Yes, she said. A spark of respect, courage, and hope. The day of the delegation's arrival finally came. A massive Elathi ship docked with the station, its doors opening to reveal tall, glowing figures, the high observers themselves. The room filled. with quiet energy as the visitors entered. Their presence was both awe-inspiring and intimidating. But Lucas felt no fear. Instead, he stood tall, ready to represent humanity. Commander Vesher stepped forward. His eyes glowed brightly, and his voice was calm but powerful. "We have observed Earth and its people. We have heard your words, Alari. Now we come to judge." Lucas met the commander's gaze. "Judge us by what you see, not by what you expect." The meeting that followed was intense but respectful. Humans showed their technology, their art, and their spirit. They spoke of their mistakes and their dreams. Ilari shared stories of her people, but also of the hope she had found in humanity. The high observers listened carefully, their expressions unreadable. At the end of the meeting, Commander Vesher spoke again. "Earth is chaotic, unpredictable, and flawed, but it also shines with potential. We will allow your species to join the community of space travelers, but with caution, you must prove your responsibility." Lucas smiled. "We'll prove it." Ilari's glow brightened with pride. "Your world has changed because you saw me, because you chose to understand." Lucas nodded. "And because we chose to believe in ourselves." As the Ilathi delegation prepared to leave, Lucas felt a deep sense of hope. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity's spirit was strong enough to face whatever came next. After the meeting with the high observers, the atmosphere on the orbital station changed. The weight of their judgment still hung in the air, but now it was mixed with hope. Humanity had been given a chance, but the true test was only beginning. Lucas sat with Alari in a quiet room overlooking Earth. The blue planet spun slowly beneath them, peaceful and bright. Alari's glow was softer now, as if she felt more at ease. "Lucas," she said, "there is something I have not told you." Lucas looked at her. "What is it?" Alari took a deep breath, "Or the closest thing to its horizon," and began. "The Elathi High Observers are not only watchers, they are also judges and enforcers. They believe some species are too dangerous to travel the stars." Lucas frowned. "You mean they would stop us?" "Yes. They have done it before. Some worlds were frozen in time, isolated, because they failed the test." Lucas's heart sank. "That's harsh." Ilari nodded. "It is necessary to protect the balance. But Earth is special. Your unpredictability makes you both a risk and a hope." Lucas thought about all the stories he had heard about human history. Wars, mistakes, but also great achievements and acts of kindness. "Do they want to intervene now?" he asked. Ilari shook her head. "Not yet, but they watch closely. My presence here has alerted them. They expect you to prove your worth." Lucas clenched his fists. "Then we will." Ilari smiled softly. "Your courage is strong, but there is more." She hesitated, then continued. "The Ilathi High Observers have rules. They cannot act without evidence. They need proof that your kind can handle the stars without destroying yourselves or others." Lucas nodded slowly. "So we have to show them, not just with words but with actions." "Yes. You must prove responsibility, wisdom, and respect for life." The room was silent for a moment. Then Lucas stood. "Where do we start?" Ilari's eyes brightened. "Together we can send a message, not just to the Ilathi but to all who watch. A message that shows humanity as it truly is." Lucas smiled. A message unfiltered, no hiding, no lies. They began working on a plan. Using the station's communication systems, they would send a broadcast across space, a signal that showed Earth's strength, creativity, and hope. Days passed as they prepared. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, mixing human technology with Alari's energy control. The station hummed with energy and purpose. Finally, the moment came. Lucas stood at the console, his hand hovering over the activation button. Alari looked at him. "Are you ready?" Lucas nodded. "Let's show them who we are." He pressed the button. The signal launched into space, a powerful message combining images, sounds, and stories of Earth. It showed people helping each other, inventing new technologies, creating art, and reaching for the stars. It showed the best and the worst of humanity, honest and proud. The broadcast reached the Ilathi fleet and beyond, to other watchers and civilizations curious about Earth. Back in the lab, they waited. Hours passed. Then the station's screens lit up with responses. Messages of curiosity, surprise, and respect came from many worlds. Commander Vashar's voice came through the speakers again. "We have received your message. It is raw, honest, and full of life. Earth has shown that it is ready, not perfect but willing. The High Observers accept your challenge." Lucas and Aelari exchanged relieved smiles. "This is only the beginning," Aelari said softly. Lucas nodded. "But it's a good start." Together they had changed the story, from one of fear and judgment to one of hope and respect. The message had been sent. The response had come. But the true test for humanity was just beginning. Lucas stood by the large window of the orbital station, watching the stars twinkle far beyond the blue glow of Earth. Aelari stood beside him, her gentle light reflecting in his eyes. "Do you think they really believe us now?" Lucas asked quietly. Aelari smiled softly. "Yes, you showed them the truth, raw and unfiltered. That is what matters." Lucas nodded. "We showed them our mistakes, our struggles, and our hope. No hiding." Suddenly, the communication console beeped. Maya Chen rushed in, her face bright with news. "The Ilathi fleet has responded. They will remain in orbit but will not interfere. They want to learn more about Earth. On your terms." Lucas let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. "That's good." Aelari's glow brightened. "This is progress. But now, the real work begins." Over the following weeks, Earth's leaders met with the Ilathi delegates. Discussions were careful but hopeful. The Ilathi shared technology and knowledge, helping Earth scientists understand more about the universe. But more important than technology was the growing respect. The Ilathi began to see humans not as chaotic dangers but as allies, with untapped potential. Lucas and Aelari became symbols of that new hope. A human and an alien working together, showing that understanding could cross even the greatest divides. One evening, Lucas and Aelari walked outside on the station's observation deck. Earth lay below, shining with life and possibility. "Lucas," Aelari said, "your species has something few others do, an endless desire to learn and grow." Lucas smiled. "We're messy, but we care." Aelari nodded. "And that is why you will thrive among the stars." Lucas looked at the stars. "I never imagined that meeting you would change everything." Aelari smiled. Sometimes the smallest encounters change the course of history. They stood in silence, watching the universe. Above them, the Ilathi fleet remained, not as judges but as watchers and friends. Humanity had taken its first step into a larger world, unfiltered, unhidden, and ready. And for Lucas and Aelari, the future was bright with possibility.